10,000 years of carefree Qi Shi Xu suddenly had a younger sister. I heard this sister can tell fortune, look at faces, and catch ghosts. Netizen. Can a 3-year-old catch ghosts? Only fools believe it. Scripts, they're all scripts. Even if I dare to create such an outrageous script for the sake of Hong, I'm not afraid of a disaster. However, famous directors, top-tier actors, and business tycoons have all released their runes. The attitude of netizens has undergone a 180-degree transformation. Little fairy, help me. Little fairy, how can I make an appointment for the rune paper? More importantly, there are a number of internet moms who always want to steal people home with sacks. Qi family brothers. Who dares to snatch my sister from me? Keywords of the novel. 3-year-old milk bag goes down the mountain, becomes the favorite of the People's League with mystery without pop-ups. 3-year-old milk bag goes down the mountain, becomes the favorite of the People's League with mystery complete collection. Download TXT. 3-year-old milk bag goes down the mountain, becomes the favorite of the People's League with mystery latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Brother, Xixi has finally found you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Brother, Xixi has finally found you. Ningcheng. Riverside Small Square. On the makeshift stage, a singer is singing. However, few people stopped in front of the stage, and those passing by hurriedly entered the supermarket to grab discounted eggs. A girl glanced at the stage and patted her companions beside her. Isn't that Qi Shi Xu? Why did he end up singing for the supermarket opening? It's too tragic. You deserve it. This kind of person should get out of the entertainment industry. If it weren't for Minga's kindness, he should have entered the bureau. It's really a cheap deal for him. Pooh. Don't be angry, hurry up and leave. The special price eggs for 1 cent and 1 pound will be gone after today. After speaking, he hurriedly plunged into the supermarket. After singing 3 songs in a row, Qi Shi Xu took a break and adjusted. Preparing to go on stage again, I felt like my legs were heavy like sandbags weighing dozens of pounds. Looking down, I saw a small milk ball tightly holding his leg. Xiao Nai Tuanzi is a small ball, powdery and sticky, like a glutinous rice ball. Mwomi Tuanzi looked up at her little head and shouted in a milky voice, "Brother. Xixi has finally found you." That face actually bears some resemblance to him. Qi Shi Xu was momentarily stunned, then reacted and said sternly, "You've mistaken the person. I'm not your brother. He doesn't have a sister at all." Qi Shi Xu tried to pull out his leg, but the small pendant on his leg was extremely strong and followed his leg off the ground. Let go. Don't let go. Brother will be in danger, Xixi is here to save him. Xixi hugged even tighter. Qi Shi Xu was both angry and amused. I still have to go on stage, I don't have time to joke with you here. Xixi is not joking, brother can't go up there, it's going to collapse. Upon seeing this, Jiang Zhenran, the agent of Qi Shi Xu, immediately ran over to help pull off the pendant stuck to Qi Shi Xu's leg. But I never expected that a few-year-old baby would have such amazing arm strength. Like a koala coiled around Qi Shi Xu's calf, no matter how hard it was pulled, it couldn't be pulled off. Watching the prelude finish playing, Jiang Zhenran had no choice but to call in the security guards on the sidelines for help. Xixi kept talking incessantly. The platform is about to collapse. Brother, it's dangerous. Xixi can't let go. The security guard heard Xixi's words as if they had heard some joke. You little girl, don't cause trouble. This stage is sturdy and made of high-quality steel. It's okay for more than 10 people to jump on it in the afternoon. How could it just collapse? The last word, collapse, has not been spoken yet. Suddenly, boom. A loud bang. The truss at the top of the stage unexpectedly fell off. Heavy impact on the stage surface. The incident happened too suddenly, and the security guard who spoke earlier couldn't believe his eyes for a moment. He stood still for a long time. Everyone was frightened by this commotion. I can't imagine what it would be like to have someone on stage at this moment. After a brief silence, the square was instantly chaotic, with many people gathered in front of the stage to watch the excitement. The performance must not continue. Jiang Zhen made a decisive decision and withdrew first. Those who left with them, as well as Xixi who held Qi Shi Xu's leg tightly just now. Returning to the car, Jiang Zhenran finally saw Xi's appearance clearly. I couldn't close my mouth in surprise. This child looks exactly like you when you were a child. You. Who are you? Xixi took the initiative to say, I am my brother's sister. Jiang Zhenran was puzzled, when will there be more sisters? How come I don't know? He and Qi Shi Xu grew up together and knew that Qi Shi Xu's parents and the unborn child in his mother's womb were buried together in a car accident 3 years ago. Qi Shi Xu once again denied, it's not my sister, I haven't seen her. Jiang Zhenran looked at Xixi and said, child, who told you he belongs to your brother? How can you prove that this is your brother? Xixi just knows. Xixi firmly said that as for the token, she doesn't have it. If you can't prove it, I'll have to send you to the police station first, said Jiang Zhenran. Xixi quickly moved Qi Shi Xu's front and tightly gripped the corners of her clothes with 2 small hands. No way. Xixi can't leave her brother. He's in danger, and Xixi needs to protect him. Xixi was raised by her master from a young age and learned mystical techniques from him. A few days ago, I accidentally saw a video of my older brother on my master's phone. I saw that my brother's hull was turning black, and I calculated that he would have a disaster today. Therefore, I came down the mountain specifically to save him. Is there a danger? What danger? Jiang Zhenran suddenly remembered what Xixi had said before the truss fell off. It can be said that if it weren't for Xixi tripping Qi Shi Xu, Qi Shi Xu would definitely not have escaped the fate of being hit by the truss. Is it difficult? What special abilities does this little milk dumpling really have? Xixi explained earnestly, brother has a gray aura on his face and is plagued by bad luck. Xixi can help. Can you really see it? Jiang Zhenran is quite interested. Not only because Xixi saved Qi Shi Xu just now, but also because Xixi was really right. Qi Shi Xu's luck has been too bad in recent years. When participating in the draft, I encountered a bad luck and had to withdraw from the competition, adding a group of black fans. The song written was plagiarized, and the plagiarized song became popular. I switched to filming TV dramas. After filming, the man went in and the TV dramas could no longer be broadcasted. Falling into singing for the opening of supermarkets, and even encountering a collapsed stage, you said you could help, how can you help? Do you know any masters? Or? Before Jiang Zhenran could finish asking, he was interrupted by Qi Shi Xu's slap on the head. Forget feudal superstition, still believe in a 3-year-old child. Shouldn't you go to the hospital to see your brain? Jiang Zhenran tugged at her hairstyle with her hand and retorted, if it weren't for this 3-year-old kid just now, it would have been you in the hospital now. Qi Shi Xu choked instantly. This statement is a fact and cannot be refuted. It's just a coincidence, you know, I don't have a younger sister. Who taught her these words? Why did she come to me? I suggest you call the police and have them investigate to avoid any trouble. Brother. Xixi's small hand grabbed Qi Shi Xu's hem and shook it. Brother, Xixi is very obedient. Xixi is not a trouble. Brother, don't rush Xixi to leave, okay? Xiao Nai Tuanzi's eyes were wet, like a wronged little kitten. Qi Shi Xu felt as if his heart had been scratched by a kitten's paw. He moved his eyes away and didn't even dare to look at the expression on little milk dumpling's face, afraid that his heart would soften. Jiang Zhenran pondered for a long time, I think it's better not to report to the police first. Xixi looks too much like you. Reporting to the police will definitely attract public attention. If Xixi really has anything to do with your family, she will be scolded in the future. What do you mean by this sentence? Qi Shi Xu's face suddenly turned cold. Jiang Zhenran stopped showing off and said, Su Su, do you think Xixi has anything to do with your big brother? Your big brother only left the country 3 years ago, so it's completely possible. Seeing Qi Shi Xu not speaking, he added another sentence. You look so similar to Xixi, it's hard to say there's no genetic connection between you. Qi Shi Xu pondered for a moment, then dug out the phone number he had hardly contacted in a long time and dialed the number. Do. The sound echoed over and over again, but no one answered. We have to send a message first. An hour has passed and the phone has not rang, let alone received any response. The sky is gradually getting dark. Xixi, who was originally sitting obediently in the back seat, fell asleep at some point. The quiet ball forms a ball, more like a soft and glutinous rice ball. Qi Shi Xu withdrew his gaze, sighed helplessly, and said to Jiang Zhenran, let's go back first. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Bracelets with Yin Qi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Bracelets with Yin Qi. The next morning, as soon as dawn broke, Xixi woke up. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked at the unfamiliar bedroom in a daze. She immediately patted her head and remembered that yesterday she specifically came down the mountain to find her brother. Where's my brother? Xiao Nai Tuanzi flipped over and slid off the bed very neatly. Seeing my brother sleeping on the sofa in the living room, I didn't disturb him, but instead wandered around in the Wu Zizi room. She could clearly feel that there was Yin energy somewhere in the room. It's not too heavy, it should have been contaminated on some object. Brother is plagued by bad luck, I don't know if it's related to this. The door of a room with Yin energy is closed, and the door handle is too high. The little girl can only make herself stand on tiptoe to make herself energized. Pop it. The door has finally been opened. This room is Qi Shi Xu's studio. It is also the largest room in the entire house. At the innermost part of the room, there is a whole wall of bookshelves. In addition to books, there are also many scattered items in the bookshelf. For Xixi, it's not difficult to pick up something from a cabinet much taller than her. She easily obtained the box she wanted. Finally found you. Xixi whispered to herself. A palm-sized velvet box, inside which lies a thin crystal bracelet. Yin Qi comes from here. Just as I picked up the bracelet, I suddenly heard an angry voice. Put it down. Who asked you to move my bracelet? Qi Shi Xu rushed in quickly and grabbed the bracelet from Xixi's hand. Carefully inspecting. His expression was very tense. It's like holding a priceless treasure in your hand. Brother, there is Yin energy stuck on the bracelet, which can affect your luck. Xixi can help you eliminate it. Xixi tilted her head and tried to explain. However, Qi Shi Xu couldn't listen at all. Don't say that this was said from a small milk bun's mouth, even if the old Taoist with white beard said so, Qi Shi Xu wouldn't believe it. What kind of Yin energy and fortune? It's just a prank. Moreover, this bracelet is still a mother's relic. When my mother passed away, she was carrying this bracelet in her hand. At that time, my mother was still pregnant with an unborn younger sister. One corpse has 2 lives. He only had time to see the body. So, Xixi came out to recognize her brother, he didn't believe it at all. His own sister has already died. No matter how similar Xixi looks, she can't be his own sister. Thinking of this, Qi Shi Xu felt even more annoyed and frustrated. He shouted in a strong tone, "Get out. I don't want to see you." But. Get out. Qi Shi Xu's anger grew stronger. Xixi was clearly kind-hearted, but her brother suddenly became so fierce. I feel a bit aggrieved. Standing in place for a while, then drooping his head and leaving. Xixi sat on the sofa for a while, and her stomach started growling. Hungry. She hooked her head and glanced at the entrance of the studio, while her brother sat on the ground with his back to her. I originally wanted to call my brother. Remembering that my brother was still angry with me, I gave up. The refrigerator was empty, with nothing left. Xixi decided to go downstairs and find some food to eat. Walking outside the community, after passing an intersection, there is a small shop selling steamed buns. Xixi could smell the fragrance of baozi from a long distance. "Auntie, I need 5 meat buns." After queuing up in front of him, his short legs vigorously tiptoed up, his raised palms spread out, and he extended 5 fingers. The loud and clear sound of milk has attracted the attention of many diners. This little girl is really good looking. The girl who bought steamed buns in front also stopped and took out her phone to take 2 photos with a click. I walked out of the steamed bun shop and hurriedly went to work. The couple selling steamed buns couldn't help but poke their heads out to see clearly when they heard the sound. "Whose child is this from? Why did you come to buy steamed buns yourself? What about your adults? You have such a big heart. You're not afraid of getting lost." "I can't do it. She knows." She looked up and answered seriously. When she saw the face of the shop owner clearly, her small face wrinkled and she didn't finish what she was supposed to say. But instead, he quickly changed the topic and said, "Uncle, you need to go home immediately. Save your son." The shop owner was taken aback for a moment, then stretched his face and said, "You kid, what nonsense are you talking about? My son is sleeping well at home with my mother watching. What can happen?" The landlady quickly packed a few buns and walked over with a bag. "Ah, the child is talking nonsense. Why do you have the same opinion as her?" He handed the bag over and said, "Here, your bun." She stood still, her small face serious and said, "I didn't say anything. Your place is black." She pointed her fingers at the position of the lower female palace. There was a thick black atmosphere lingering around. The landlady quickly looked at the current position of the shop owner, except for a slight dark circle under her eyes, which was no different from usual. "Where is it black? These are the dark circles under my eyes when I stay up late." The other diners in the store also found it funny. Nowadays, these parents are really unreliable. They teach their children something. Who said no? Nowadays, who doesn't have a dark circle under their eyes? Just follow what she said, it's all a mess. Some even have a slightly irritable temper and their words are particularly unpleasant to listen to. Buy it if you want, leave if you don't waste everyone's time. "Boss, are you still selling steamed buns? Why talk so much to her? We're still waiting for work." "That's it. Why don't you sell us and leave?" The shop owner quickly responded, "Sell. Sell." The people behind Xixi crossed Xixi, 2 steamed buns, a bowl of congee, pack and take away. Okay. Now. The baozi shop has resumed normal operations, and no one has taken Xixi's words to heart. The landlady also set aside the steamed buns she had prepared for Xixi and continued to busy herself. Xixi clenched her small fists together, feeling a bit anxious. If we keep going like this, there won't be enough time. Her mind wandered around and she came up with an idea. "Uncle, Aunt, I want to buy all the bags." Speaking like magic, he pulled out a stack of red tickets from the small cloth bag he was carrying with him. Everyone was stunned by Xixi's action. Xixi's cloth bag is made of several types of cloth heads spliced together, sewn purely by hand, looking deflated and very shabby. It's just such a shabby little cloth bag, to the extent that it can be easily pulled out with so many 100 yuan bills. Is this child on the fence? Don't talk about martial arts. Boss, you can't sell it either. Some people have also wavered in their originally firm stance due to Xixi's actions. A girl with a cabbage jade pendant hanging around her neck hesitated and said, she wants the boss and lady to go home quickly. Is it possible? Wasn't what she said just now a joke? After finishing speaking, I saw everyone looking at me. I scratched my head and awkwardly smiled. It said that children have sharp eyes and can see things that adults can't see. As soon as these words were spoken, someone immediately retorted, oh no. What era is it? You still believe in these? There are some things that one would rather believe in than believe in, what if? Just in case, you wouldn't know her, would you? It's a new type of scam, isn't it? For a moment, the Baozi shop was very lively. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Sending Xi to the police station. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Sending Xi to the police station. Xixi was so noisy that she was one head and too big. She looked at the shop owner and said, there is black air in the children's palace, but not in the parents' palace. If uncle doesn't believe it, you can call him back. They're not together. Xiao Nai Tuanzi's eyes were black and she spoke with extra firmness. The girl wearing a cabbage jade pendant heard the sound of Xixi and immediately turned her head to look at the shop owner. Boss, just make a phone call now, it won't take much time. It's nothing else, it's just a quarrel and a rebellious spirit. Another person also stepped up and said, boss, let's fight. Let's see what else they have to say. Everyone cheered along. In order to resume normal business as soon as possible, the shop owner reluctantly agreed, dialing the phone while complaining. My mother is watching at home, what can I do? You see, this is not connected. After answering the phone, the shop owner put on a smile and chatted lightly with the other person, Mom, it's okay. I just wanted to ask if Yang Yang is awake. Soon, the shop owner's smile froze on his face, and his tone instantly rose a few degrees. What? You're not at home. Where's Yang Yang? Seeing the shop owner hang up the phone, everyone couldn't help but ask a lot of questions. Boss, what's going on? Can't this little baby really get it right? The shop owner suddenly felt his palms cold and said, my mom went out to buy groceries, and the child is sleeping at home. Isn't it so coincidental? Why don't you go home and take a look? The landlady also drummed in her heart, urging the shop owner to go back. The shop owner thought for a moment and said, look at the store, I'll go back and take a look. About 10 minutes later, the landlady received a call. The house is on fire. Fortunately, the shop owner returned in time, and the son who was locked at home was not in danger of his life. He just sucked in some cigarettes. Boss, how could she still have the heart to do business? While bombarding people and searching for keys, I even forgot to understand my apron. Everyone go back, we won't be selling steamed buns today. Something happened at home. It won't really be your son. The house is on fire. Thanks to the little fairy just now, I need to go back and take a look quickly. A few people who were not in a hurry to work watched the whole process. This includes the two who had a fight just now. The two of them looked at each other, unable to say the next word. The girl with the cabbage jade pendant first reacted and said, did you see the little fairy walking towards which direction? 2 minutes ago, I turned left when I went out, someone said. The girl quickly ran out, but it happened to be at the corner of the intersection. People had been walking for a while, and when they passed by, they could only see the hurried pedestrians. Where could there be any trace of the little milk bun? Qi Shi Xu put the bracelet back in place, and as soon as he came out of the studio, he saw the door wide open. I searched the whole room but didn't see any trace of Xixi. Xiao Nai Tuanzi went out on her own. Qi Shi Xu, who came to this conclusion, suddenly felt a tightness in his heart. In the city, with towering buildings and people and cars coming and going, there are too many unknown dangers for such a young child to go out on their own. He regretted it a bit, feeling that he had spoken too heavily just now. But now is not the time to think about these things. What matters is to find the person first. I ran through the entire community but couldn't find anything. The longer it takes, the harder it becomes to find. Qi Shi Xu immediately called Jiang Zhenran and said, Xixi is lost. You report it to the police first, and I will check the surveillance. As soon as I finished speaking, I felt my pants being pulled twice. Brother. Xixi appeared in front of me at some point. No need to report to the police, the person has been found. Qi Shi Xu hung up the phone, and his heart finally returned to its place. He lowered his face, just about to have a seizure. Xiaonai Tuanzi raised the hand holding the bun, looking innocent and innocent. Brother, eat meat buns. Qi Shi Xu's unspoken words choked up in his throat. After hesitating for a moment, I finally softened my tone. Don't run around next time. Xixi nodded obediently and said, I'm sorry, brother. I won't make you worry anymore. Who said I'm worried? Qi Shi Xu said stiffly. Oh. Xixi lowered her eyes and pointed to Qi Shi Xu's foot, brother, your slippers are broken. Qi Shi Xu was in a hurry and didn't have time to change into his home slippers. He ran around the huge community and his shoes cracked a huge hole, leaving only the last connecting point. Qi Shi Xu raised his foot and the last connection point was completely disconnected. The stubbornness of the mouth, which was maintained to the utmost, was mercilessly exposed at the moment when the slippers broke open. I can only use a longer face to conceal my discomfort. Xixi didn't care about so much and raised her hand to hold Qi Shi Xu's hand. Brother, let's go back. I'm so hungry. Qi Shi Xu lowered his eyes and looked at the hand being held, struggling for a long time in his heart. In the end, he didn't have the determination to shake it off, but gently squeezed the small hand. Just as he returned home, Qi Shi Xu's phone rang. Big brother Qi Shi called. Qi Shi Xu went to the balcony with his phone in hand. On the other end of the phone, Qi Shi's deep voice was a bit hoarse and tired. Why did you suddenly ask this question? A little girl who looks very similar to me approached me and said it was our sister. The other end of the phone remained silent for a few seconds. If you look similar, must it have something to do with our family? Do you know we don't have a sister, so you think it's mine? I'm telling you very clearly that I haven't had a woman before, so it's even more unlikely that I have any daughters. Qi Shi Xu frowned slightly and looked at Xi, who was eating steamed buns seriously in the living room. He didn't give up and asked, the little girl is probably over 3 years old. Do you want to think about it again? For example, after drinking. Qi Shi's voice became a bit more angry. Qi Shi Xu, are you having a brain problem? 4 years ago, I had a serious stomach disease and never had alcohol. I have a suggestion for you, take someone to the police station, no matter who she is, it has nothing to do with you. After speaking, the phone hung up. Qi Shi's words are well-founded and will not be false. If Xixi really has any relationship with Qi Shi wouldn't have this attitude either. So Xixi is not Big Brother's daughter. Listening to the busy voice on the phone, Qi Shi Xu felt a bit lost for some reason. Returning to the living room, facing a bright smile. Brother. Eating wrapping paper. The soft voice makes people's hearts inexplicably soft. Qi Shi Xu's footsteps paused, and he could feel that he didn't seem to reject calling himself brother anymore, and he was becoming more and more stubborn towards this little girl. But he knew very well in his heart that this was not his own sister. Qi Shi Xu clenched his fists together and made the decision to send the person away as soon as possible, so as not to become more heartless as they dragged on. He lowered his head and sent a message to Jiang Zhenran. Come over and take Xixi to the police station. End of this chapter. Chapter 4 is on the news. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 is on the news about half an hour later. Jiang Zhenran rushed over in a hurry. Seeing Xixi watching cartoons on the sofa, I pulled Qi Shi Xu to the room in the studio. Why did you suddenly send Xi away? Your brother replied to the message. Are you sure it's not? Sure. Qi Shi Xu nodded. Let's send it off now. The longer it takes, the more trouble it becomes. Jiang Zhenran pondered for a moment before firmly rejecting, no, we can't send them off yet. Reason. Qi Shi Xu stared into Jiang Zhenran's eyes and asked. It seems that if Jiang Zhenran doesn't give him a convincing reason, he won't give up. Jiang Zhenran replied, on my way here just now, I saw many journalists at the entrance of your community. You don't think they're here to take pictures of me, do you? Qi Shi Xu hasn't received any work for half a year. There are not many people who know him, and he has not appeared in the public eye for a long time. So he doesn't think those press conferences are here to film him. Jiang Zhenran held an optimistic attitude towards this, at least there have been many supporters. It's not good to say that in your community, besides you, there should be no other artists living there. This house was bought by Qi Shi Xu 3 years ago when he moved out of the house. The community is not considered a high-end community, and the price is in the middle. It is indeed unlikely that other artists will live in it. I feel like it might have been filmed yesterday. As Jiang Zhenran spoke, she took out her phone and opened the Weibo hot search list, searching from top to bottom. But all the way, I didn't see Qi Shi Xu's name. Oh, no, if it weren't filmed, how could there be so many journalists outside the community? Jiang Zhenran didn't believe in evil and felt that he must have missed something. Starting to search from bottom to top again. Suddenly attracted by one of the entries in the middle of the hot search list. Hashtag the little fairy saved my son. Hashtag under the trend of curiosity, Jiang Zhenran easily clicked on that hot search. A voice from an interview leaked. Our husband and wife are selling steamed buns in the store. A 3 or 4-year-old girl came over to buy steamed buns and insisted that we go home to save our son. At first, we also thought it was a joke. What are you looking at? Qi Shi Xu had already felt that the voice sounded familiar, and when he heard the mention of a 3 or 4-year-old girl, he immediately walked over and took the phone from Jiang Zhenran's hand. The voice in the video continued, after I got home, I found that there was a fire in my house. If I came a little late, my son would really die. It happened so suddenly that we didn't have time to thank the little fairy. If someone can help me find the little fairy, we'll treat him to steamed buns. Because the situation was too bizarre, as soon as the interview came out, it quickly became a trending topic. There were also many people discussing it. Everyone is skeptical about this. Momo. Boss, are you listening to the absurdity yourself? It's outrageous. His mother. Why, 110. Orange soda. You're still a little fairy. These days, stories made up of selling steamed buns are so creative. Spicy rabbit head. That's right, when making up stories, at least they look a bit like a white-bearded celestial master, let alone a 3 or 4-year-old doll. I haven't quit breastfeeding at this age yet. To lose 20 pounds. I don't understand the above, this is the traffic password. Jiang Zhenran averted his gaze from his phone, and the thoughts that came to his mind seemed absurd to him. Xu, could the 3 or 4-year-old baby they're talking about be? 1111. Qi Shi Xu didn't answer directly, but pointed to his phone screen with his finger and said, this person's steamed bun shop is located at a crossroads outside the community. He bought steamed buns there many times and recognized them at a glance. Seeing Jiang Zhenran's face full of shock, he added, Xixi also bought steamed buns this morning and went there by herself. Jiang Zhenran closed his shocked mouth for a while and said, so. Are those reporters outside waiting to interview the owner of the steamed bun shop, or are they squatting? He leaned in front of Qi Shi Xu and said in a suppressed voice, "Once is a coincidence, twice can't be a coincidence, right?" Qi Shi Xu gave Jiang Zhenran a glance and said, "How do you know that the owner of the steamed bun shop said there is no artistic processing element? So, what do you plan to do? Do you really want to send Xixi to the police station?" At this point in time, those journalists need to immediately surround them. The little fairy has been sent to the police station by the gas-soaked beans. This news is going viral, isn't it? Qi Shi Xu pondered for a few seconds and said, "Let's do this for now. This kind of news won't be hot for a few days, let's see the situation before we talk." Actually, he has another idea. There are many people following this news, and he wants to filter out some identity information from it. I really want to know why Xixi came to him. The news continued to ferment and soon there was a reversal. The comment section is no longer filled with uniform questioning, with people claiming to be diners claiming to have witnessed the scene. Money comes from all directions. The boss really didn't make up a story. I was also in the store at the time and saw with my own eyes that the little fairy, in order to make the shopkeeper go home as soon as possible, took out a red ticket and said he wanted to buy all the buns. I regret not pulling the little fairy to help me calculate at that time Xiaodubo. I saw it too. That little girl looks particularly delicate, like a doll. Passerby A. Is this a request? Brain ache. Can't understand the direction of the story. Red tickets, the more they are compiled, the more outrageous they become. The good youth of the new era. Although I haven't figured out the reason yet, the situation is indeed like this, it's not an exaggeration at all. The majority of people do not believe in it. Just a few people came out to speak, and everyone only treated it as a request from the owner of the steamed bun shop. Having watched the excitement enough, the heat has also cooled down. Originally, this matter was going to be passed calmly. Until evening, someone released a photo of Xixi. The first party loves me again. Isn't this the shop owner who bought steamed buns in the morning? What is the situation? What he said about the little fairy, isn't it this little girl who looks huge, beautiful? Image, a stone stirs up 1,000 waves. With this photo of Xixi, she directly climbed to the top of the hot search list. It's not because of anything else, it's just because the little milk bun in the picture has a too high aesthetic value. Hanging on the hot search list is inevitable to be seen by more people. A large number of people have great power, and netizens have a particularly strong ability to follow the flow of information. Quickly, someone touched Qi Shi Xu with this photo. At first, some people thought it looked similar, but later on, I don't know who found a photo of Qi Shi Xu's commercial performance yesterday. The photo was taken from a distance, although it was not very clear, it did not capture Xixi's face. But the clothes were exactly the same, even the hand-sewn cloth bag on Xixi's back was exactly the same. After all, the probability of using the same cloth pieces to assemble a cloth bag, and each piece of cloth having the same position, is close to 0. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Xixi has a solution. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Xixi has a solution. The original social news has been dragged into the entertainment industry. Many people who eat melons can't figure it out in an instant. Orange soda. Who is Qi Shi Xu? Momo. What kind of story direction is this? Isn't the owner of the steamed bun shop advertising? How did you bring up another celebrity? What does he do again? As soon as Qi Shi Xu's entry became popular on the search engine, many black fans immediately rushed in to educate passers-by about Qi Shi Xu. Saying it's popular science, but in fact, it's all about pulling and insulting. My native language is speechless. Play big. Hitting someone. Can this kind of person get out of the entertainment industry? Ming is Ming. I got this name early in the morning, it's really unlucky. I recommend watching Shine. New star, 3 years ago for those who don't know. I fought against the contestants more than once and eventually withdrew from the show myself. Passerby A. I just came back from watching the video, and I can only say that I have such a blank face. No wonder I'm not popular and have fallen into the trap of picking up a supermarket commercial performance entertainment industry's #1 observer. This is too confusing, the acting industry has already taken the lead. It's both a steamed bun shop and a little fairy. It's really difficult for them to follow the right path just for the sake of the last hot search. Passing by while eating melons. Where is this from, the 18-line battered coffee? Who wrote the script for, is it so outrageous? Lemon is not sour. Not to mention anything else, this sister is very cute. Is this planning to bring my sister into the entertainment industry? Ming is Ming. He, before entering the entertainment industry, just setting up this inexplicable persona. Little immortal, wait for the car to overturn. Qi Shi Xu put down his phone and found it very boring. Turning his head to look at Xixi, who was watching cartoons on the sofa, his eyes were flickering with thought. Jiang Zhenran comforted him with a long and verbose voice, don't take it to heart either. This kind of news, at most for 2 days, will soon be suppressed by other things. These netizens are really imaginative. I'll help you control the public opinion online. Stay indoors these days and avoid the limelight before we talk. Qi Shi Xu withdrew his gaze. First, help me buy a child's bed, some clothes, and daily necessities. Jiang Zhenran's eyes lit up and he said, Su, are you accepting Xixi? Are you planning to let she stay? Xixi suddenly turned around when she heard it and looked over. Her sparkling eyes were filled with surprises. Qi Shi Xu met his expectant eyes, coughed lightly, and coldly replied, I just hate going on hot searches. Even if I only stay for a few days, can I sleep on the sofa every day? Sending Xixi to the police station at this time will make public opinion more explosive. I can only take it in for a few days. Qi Shi Xu lowered his eyes, thinking. Xixi doesn't care what Qi Shi Xu thinks, all she knows is that her brother is going to buy her a small bed. She can continue to live with her brother now. She slid off the sofa and ran happily to Qi Shi Xu, saying happily, great. Brother, don't hurry and leave. Stay temporarily. Qi Shi Xu reminded. Xixi looked up in confusion and said, brother, Xixi doesn't understand. What does temporary residence mean? Jiang Zhenran chuckled and Qi Shi Xu realized that he had met his opponent. Before Qi Shi Xu's eye knife could fly over, Jiang Zhenran quickly stood up and said, I'll go buy a bed for Xixi first. When closing the door, I heard Xixi's serious questioning voice. Brother, can you teach me? Qi Shi Xu's house has a total of 3 rooms. A bedroom, a studio, and a miscellaneous room. There are several fitness equipment in the miscellaneous room, and after freeing it up, the area is not small, and there is still plenty of room for a child's bed. Qi Shi Xu and Jiang Zhenran spent an afternoon decorating the room, even replacing the original curtains with the pink color that the little girl liked. Wow! It's so beautiful. Xixi wandered around the room, feeling extremely fond of it. She climbed onto the soft little bed and rolled several times, it's so soft. Xixi really likes it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Ran. Qi Shi Xu felt a bit awkward and didn't know how to answer such a bright smile. In the end, he only replied lightly, oh. I turned around and left. I thought everything would go according to plan. In a few days, public opinion will slowly dissipate and everything will return to normal. But I never expected that some black fans would be so bored. They couldn't find Qi Shi Xu, so they kept harassing the owner of the steamed bun shop and filming videos. Why did the owner of the steamed bun shop cooperate with Qi Shi Xu to play the script? How much did you get from Qi Shi Xu? I asked such questions over and over again. The owner of the steamed bun shop is constantly disturbed. There is no other way. He opens the door to do business, and there is such a group of people who go around every day, calling him a liar. It is inevitable that some uninformed people will believe it and affect business. It has been several days since I learned about this matter. Jiang Zhenran was delivering food to Qi Shi Xu and Xixi when he drove past the steamed bun shop and found that the door was tightly closed. When searching online, one only knows the cause and effect of the situation. I'm not lying. I've said it many times, my son was saved by a little fairy. There was a fire that day, you can go check it yourself. I really don't know any Qi Shi Xu. I didn't even take his money. The owner of the steamed bun shop in the video looks tired and helpless. Repeating those few sentences over and over again. However, the person who filmed the video kept chasing and asking questions. Until he blocked the camera with his hand and said, "Stop shooting. Stop shooting. These people are really despicable." Jiang Zhenran slammed the table angrily. Qi Shi Xu also tightened his brows. He knew that the reason why the owner of the steamed bun shop was surrounded was because he was implicated. He may not go out, but the shop owner of the steamed bun shop is there, and the monk cannot leave the temple. I don't think we can sit idly by. Xu, do you have any way to do it? Jiang Zhenran asked Qi Shi Xu. The owner of the steamed bun shop has to support his family, so we can't just watch him close like this. If this matter is difficult to handle, it will be difficult. Even if we report it to the police, it won't have much effect. Allowing them to continue their mischief, the steamed bun shop may really not be able to continue. Qi Shi Xu remained silent for a long time before slowly speaking up. Have you received the money from the commercial performance the other day? Here you are you planning to compensate them? Ask them if they are willing to change the location of the store, and if the money is not enough, I will give it to you. But Jiang Zhenran hesitated. This money is for you to save and plan on making a new album, otherwise you wouldn't have to go to this kind of commercial performance. A drop in the bucket is better than a drop in the bucket. What if those people are targeting me again? I can't keep changing positions. Xixi's little head popped out at some point. Brother, Xixi has a way. Qi Shi Xu and Jiang Zhenran looked at Xixi at the same time. Xixi continued, as long as Xixi comes out to prove that uncle is not lying, it's enough. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Live streaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Live streaming. The phone camera is facing me, press the record button. Jiang Zhenran made an "okay" gesture. After receiving the signal, Xixi waved her hand towards the camera and greeted her with a tender voice. Hello, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts. My name is Xixi. Xixi wants to tell her brothers, sisters, uncles, and aunts that uncle really didn't lie. Xixi not only knows how to look, but also divines and catches ghosts. Xixi spoke as she opened the small cloth bag she was carrying on her back. I took out a brush, cinnabar, compass, and a large stack of yellow watch paper from inside the small cloth bag. Is only a little big in the palm. No matter how it looks, it doesn't seem like it can hold so many things. However, this is not over yet. Xixi fumbled inside the small cloth bag twice again and pulled out a peachwood sword. The peachwood sword has an adult arm length and stands almost taller than Xixi's. These are all tools for Xixi to catch ghosts. Can everyone stop looking for the uncle who sells steamed buns? He really isn't lying. Xixi clasped her hands together and said, please. After filming the video, Xixi put the things she had taken out back in the same way. Brother, have you finished filming? When Xixi ran over, Qi Shi Xu and Jiang Zhenran were shocked and still stunned, forgetting to even press the pause button. Xixi, what kind of magic is this? Jiang Zhenran couldn't help but pick up the messy little bag. Light and floating, just like the sky. But he clearly saw Xixi take out a lot of things from inside with his own eyes, and then put them all back in. What about things? Xixi's eyes curved. Brother Ran, it's not magic, this is Xixi's treasure bag. A treasure bag? Is there really such a thing? It's amazing. Yeah. The video was sent using Qi Shi Xu's account. Although the account has not been open for a long time, due to recent hot searches, the number of visitors coming and going every day has increased significantly. So not long after the video was posted, many people forwarded and moved it. After watching the video, the audience was no less shocked than Qi Shi Xu and Jiang Zhenran. Am I dizzy? Did that wooden sword come out of such a small cloth bag? Did you tell me what the principle is? Urgent. Is this magic or magic? Did anyone come out to decrypt it? This muggle wants to believe it. There are also some cute and boastful comments mixed in the middle. But not long after, there were quite a few people coming out to fight. The video must have been edited. I'm really impressed. In order to attract attention, I came up with such a solution. See, if you tell a lie, keep patching up. Not to mention anything else, the props were quite well prepared. What kind of confusing behavior is this? Qi Shi Xu's team is really brainless, thinking that this can really become popular. They act one after another. Jumping clowns Jiang Zhenran flipped through the comments, frowning unconsciously. These people are really, endlessly. Xixi leaned her head over, but she didn't read much and couldn't understand what those words meant. She only recognized the last two words, Joker. She scratched her head in confusion and said, Brother Ran, clown, do you mean Xixi? Xixi is not ugly. Jiang Zhenran immediately said, Xixi looks good. This clown doesn't mean people are ugly. Halfway through the explanation, Jiang Zhenran realized that it didn't seem like a good thing to say, so he shifted the topic. Xixi, do you recognize characters? Master taught a little. Xixi pointed to her phone screen and read out a few words she knew. What is this, without a brain? Although I still can't understand the meaning of a sentence, compared to my peers, being able to recognize so many words is already impressive. Even Qi Shi Xu couldn't help but look over in surprise. Xixi is still carefully looking at her phone screen, studying the meaning of that sentence. Didn't you say, Qi Shi Xu? But why does Xixi think it's not a good thing to say? As he spoke, he looked up at Jiang Zhenran and said, Brother Ran, can you read it to Xixi? It's not a good thing, and there's no need for a 3-year-old child to listen. Jiang Zhenran flipped her phone onto the sofa and said, It's nothing, they just feel like the video has been edited. What is edited? Xixi looked bewildered, clearly not understanding what the word meant. Jiang Zhenran explained it briefly before Xixi finally understood. So it's like this. It's easy to prove, you can live stream it. Yeah. Jiang Zhenran patted her thighs, turned around and lay on the back of the sofa, seeking Qi Shi Xu's opinion. Su, what do you think? If it were placed before, Qi Shi Xu would definitely stop it. But what he just saw was with his own eyes. Even after the video was released, he still felt like he was in a dream, completely unable to explain what he had just seen with science. Despite the twists and turns in his heart, Qi Shi Xu remained indifferent on the surface. You see what to do. Okay. If you don't stop, you agree. Jiang Zhenran immediately jumped up from the sofa and began preparing for the live broadcast. A few minutes later, the live broadcast was started using Qi Shi Xu's account. The person who originally followed the video immediately discovered that Qi Shi Xu's account was live streaming. Everyone came in to see the excitement. In just 3 minutes, 2,000 to 3,000 people entered the live broadcast room. Why don't you speak? What are you preparing for? There's really no bottom line. I took advantage of the heat and started live streaming. What about Qi Shi Xu? It's shameless to have the child come out live and hide behind his own back. The barrage was brushing rapidly. Xixi, who was originally not very literate, couldn't recognize the rapidly scrolling words. She looked up at Jiang Zhenran behind her phone and whispered, "Brother Ranran, can we start now?" Jiang Zhenran nodded as he saw that the number of people was almost there. Xixi slowly spoke up and said, "Hello everyone, brothers, sisters, uncles and aunts. I'm still Xixi. Xixi doesn't deceive anyone. A small bag can really hold a lot of things, and Xixi really knows how to catch ghosts." She once again took out her usual talisman and seal script tools from the small bag. Who knows if it was pre-recorded how to prove it is a live broadcast. It's really pitiful to have become a tool for my brother's pursuit of fame and fortune at such a young age. There are a few people in the barrage, always carrying a rhythm and saying it's not a live broadcast. People who are not familiar with it are also beginning to suspect. Jiang Zhenran saw the barrage, cleared his throat, and read out the barrage. After hearing this, Xixi stuffed the peachwood sword that had just been pulled out halfway back, took a step forward, and watched the rapidly rolling barrage. "It's a live broadcast." She tilted her head and said, "What questions do my brothers, sisters, uncles, and aunts have? Xixi can also answer them. Catch a ghost and have a look. Catch ghosts at first glance. The bullet screen was filled with the words, catching ghosts, and there was nothing else. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Sisters Can't Go Ashore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. Calculating the day of birth for brother's death opponent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Calculating the day of birth for brother's death opponent. When the girl raised her phone again, the tears in her eyes couldn't be controlled anymore. Drop by drop, drop by drop. She put in a lot of effort for this exam. Working during the day, one can only sacrifice sleeping time to review. I woke up before 5 o'clock in the morning and went to bed at 12 o'clock in the evening. This routine has persisted for most of the year. If you can't even enter the exam room in the end, you will really vomit. Little fairy. If you can calculate that my ID card is not around, you can definitely help me. Please. Sister, don't cry. Xixi knows where it is. Xixi replied. Really? The girl hurriedly wiped away the tears on her face. Xixi nodded seriously and said, "Of course, it's 10 meters north of my sister, in an iron box. 10 meters north, in an iron box. Ice will definitely come ashore." After trying hard to recall, something suddenly came to mind and the expression on his face froze. The next moment, he rushed out with his phone in hand. Pushed open the door facing her room. The people in the room were playing games and didn't even look up. It wasn't until the girl took out the iron box from the drawer that the man playing games instinctively looked over. "What are you looking for?" "I'll help you find it." The man stood up nervously, tugging at his forgotten headphones. The iron box was also opened at this time. My ID card was lying quietly in the iron box, facing up, and I could just see the information on it. Name. Ruan Bingbing. It's the ID card of Ice will definitely land. Why is my ID card with you? The girl questioned. The man's eyes dodged, looking for an excuse. Last time you let me go, I helped you put it away, did you forget? When did I leave it with you? I printed my admission ticket a few days ago and put it specifically with my ID card. I haven't used my ID card in the past few days. The girl stared at the man and confidently exposed the lie. Why did you take my ID card? You know I have an exam in 2 days. You did it on purpose. You did it on purpose. The man saw that he couldn't fool him and turned to playing emotional cards. Bing bing. I love you. I don't want to be away from you, I don't want to be separated from you, can we skip the exam? If you don't like your current job, quit and I'll take care of you. This is my future. Why do you make decisions for me? Can you stop being so selfish? When will our marriage be held when you go to Ningcheng? My parents are getting older, and I can't bear it anymore. I'm selfish. Why didn't you tell me earlier if you didn't want to? When I was preparing for the exam, you hypocritically encouraged me and stole my ID card to prevent me from taking the exam. The voices of the two arguing were very clear in the live broadcast room. Until the two sounds of bang and bang rang out as the door closed. The camera once again turned on the girl's face, her eyes bright red. She said a simple thank you and hurriedly hung up the video connection. After hanging up the video connection, I gave several large gifts in succession. The people watching the live stream were completely confused by the twists and turns in the changes. Ah! What kind of person is this? If it weren't for knowing in advance, the exam would definitely have been ruined. Is it a script again? It feels a bit real. The person selected in the screenshot, isn't it Todd? Can you really calculate it? Even the little fairy can calculate it for me. Shoot me. Shoot me. At first, the bullet screen wanted to have a rhythm and say it was a script, but those who watched the entire process in the live broadcast room had their own judgment. Not to mention anything else, the barrage drifted rapidly at that time, and even if we found hundreds of pallets, the probability of intercepting it was not high. So it can't be a script. When the second person was drawn, the number of online viewers had already exceeded 30,000. Many people started giving gifts early. The rolling speed of the barrage has increased. With his first experience, Jiang Zhenran felt quite confident. The process of connecting screenshots to the microphone is more proficient. Senior melon friend, I'll pull you on the wheat. Is it really me? It's really me. Ah. The girl was very excited and finally calmed down after screaming. I have already given gifts, can I not show my face? Of course it's possible, what does sister want to calculate? Xixi picked up the few ancient coins on the table and grabbed them in her palm. Can you read the 8 characters? Asked a senior melon friend. Sister, if you want to see it, you can watch it. In fact, compared to others, Xixi prefers to look at her face and divine. She learned the 8 characters later and is not very proficient. But since someone wants to calculate, let's just review. Could you please help me check my current emotional state and future career development? Is July 15th lunar or solar calendar? Is there a time? According to the solar calendar. There are no hours, can we calculate it? Sister, wait. Xixi lowered her head and carefully calculated with her fingers. Why is your birthday still uncertain? Isn't this Fei Ming's birthday? Let's get into trouble. Let's calculate based on Fei Ming's birthday. Who didn't know that Fei Ming and Qi Shi Xu were sworn enemies? Is it really Fei Ming's birthday? Then I'm a bit looking forward to the outcome. This melon friend is a bit unethical. If you come up with something bad, there will be some to watch. Che, who knows how to operate in the dark. Someone really believed in that incident just now. Xixi lowered her head, completely unaware of the discussion on the barrage. Jiang Zhenran, who had been staring at the barrage all along, was extremely anxious. I want to remind, but due to live streaming, I can't remind. Cough. 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 Jiang Zhenran coughed several times in a row, and Xixi finally lifted her head. Brother Ranran, what's wrong with you? Do you want to remind me? The staff is panicking now. Everyone's attention is focused on the interaction between Xixi and Jiang Zhenran. Jiang Zhenran dared not act rashly at all. Actually, he didn't think of how to remind himself. Speaking is definitely not possible, writing is not feasible. Not to mention that Xixi cannot recognize all the characters. Even if Xixi can read, it will take him a while to find a pen and paper, so there must be no time. Jiang Zhenran, who had failed his attempt, awkwardly waved his hand. It's okay, it's okay. It's just that my throat is a bit uncomfortable. Cough. Ow. Drink some water. Drink later. Oh. Xixi lowered her head and began to calculate seriously, her little eyebrows furrowing tighter and tighter. She sat close, almost slapping her face. So the audience also immediately noticed Xixi's emotional changes. I couldn't help but have a heated discussion. Why frowned? Did you really get it right? Suddenly a little curious, rub your hands, sit and wait. When will it be okay? Hurry up, Qi Shi Xu's sister live streams to Fei Ming's fortune telling. What kind of Shura field is this? I love watching it. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. But brother doesn't want Xixi to help. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. But brother doesn't want Xixi to help. Those who were able to enter the live broadcast room from the beginning of Qi Shi Xu's account were very clear about the rift between Qi Shi Xu and Fei Ming. No matter what Xixi calculates, it is destined to cause a considerable storm. I won't be able to run away from being scolded. Those who say good will be scolded and rubbed, while those who say bad will be scolded even more. Xixi didn't say a word, and there were already many people chasing and cursing at the barrage. Ha! Xixi calculated for a long time and finally looked at the camera on her phone. Sister, this is not your birthday, I cannot say the result. It's my birthday. The other side was still speaking hard. After finally connecting, she doesn't want to give up this opportunity. Xixi shook her head firmly and said, Sister, you can't lie. She calculated that this is an older brother's birthday. She calculated several times, and all the results were the same. She can't be wrong. I calculated for my friend. There's no need to go into too much detail, stuttered the senior melon friend, making excuses before Xixi could answer. The live broadcast suddenly stopped. Oh, why is there no sound? Xixi leaned over and looked at the screen, which had already lost its screen. Being banned. Jiang Zhenran saw a notice of the ban on the live broadcast room upon exiting. There are too many complaints, I was banned for 7 days. Instead, they broke free from their encirclement. Can't it be broadcasted anymore? But why does Brother Ranran look so happy? Xixi scratched his cerebellum in confusion. Jiang Zhenran couldn't help but smile on her face. On that birthday just now, it was your brother's arch-nemesis. No matter what you say, you will be scolded. It happened to be banned, so it's a breeze. I posted a screenshot of the backend on Weibo and then put down my phone. After posting, Jiang Zhenran couldn't help but give Xixi a thumbs up and said, Xixi, you're really amazing. You can calculate that it's not a netizen's birthday. Thank you for not saying anything. Xixi answered seriously, Master said that only one or one's family can come and calculate the 8 characters. This is the rule. So. What did you calculate just now? Jiang Zhenran leaned in and asked in a low voice. Ah. Xixi blinked her eyes, her tone quite helpless. But Brother Ran, have you forgotten what I just said? Oh. The rules. I understand. Jiang Zhenran collapsed on the backrest of the sofa in disappointment. He really wants to see the ending of Fei Ming. If it weren't for Fei Ming, Qi Shi Xu wouldn't be so miserable now. It's been 3 years and he's still being chased and scolded. Xixi patted Jiang Zhenran's arm with her small hand and said, There is a fixed fate for karma, but brother, don't be impatient. Upon hearing these words, Jiang Zhenran instantly regained his composure and bounced off the sofa, which means he will be punished. Xixi didn't say that. Right. Xixi didn't say anything. Jiang Zhenran replied with a smile. Then he remembered what Xixi had said before, that Qi Shi Xu was so unlucky because he had a gray aura on his face and was plagued by bad luck. He lowered his voice and asked, Xixi, your brother is so unlucky. Can you really help? But. Xixi scratched the backrest of the sofa and secretly looked at Qi Shi Xu. Qi Shi Xu was sitting at the table next to him, fiddling with his tablet. I didn't look up at all. Xixi sat back on the sofa, let out a soft sigh, and lowered her head in frustration, saying, "But my brother doesn't want Xixi to help. He's even more aggressive, Xixi. When? Your brother's mouth is tough, so he definitely didn't mean to get angry with you. How do you want to help him out of bad luck? Maybe I can help him, the two of us secretly did it for him." When two people gather together whispering quietly. Qi Shi Xu's voice echoed softly above his head. "What are you talking about?" Dot. Dot. Xixi and Jiang Zhenran raised their heads together. Qi Shi Xu didn't know when he came over, so he stood behind them, with his hands resting on the backrest of the sofa, just looking at the two of them leisurely. Cough. Didn't say anything. Jiang Zhenran coughed twice in disguise. Qi Shi Xu spoke slowly and said, "I heard you. Whatever you do, don't hit me with your ideas, or else you'll send me away." Jiang Zhenran didn't give up and wanted to continue persuading. "Are you really not planning to give it a try? You've seen it too, Xixi is really amazing." Xixi also looked up at Qi Shi Xu, her eyes filled with anticipation. Qi Shi Xu avoided Xixi's eager gaze and raised his hand to pat Jiang Zhenran's head. "Try your head." He doesn't know how Xixi did it. But the experience of the first 20 years made it difficult for him to easily accept and even more difficult to understand. The only thing he can be certain of is that he was right in front of his sister when she declared her death. After Qi Shi Xu finished speaking, he walked into the studio without looking back and slammed the door shut. Leave Jiang Zhenran and Xixi looking at each other. At that moment, the doorbell broke the silence. The person wearing express delivery clothes. Jiang Zhenran saw that the name of Qi Shi Xu was written on the small box, so he collected it on his behalf. "Your package." Jiang Zhenran opened the door of Qi Shi Xu's studio and delivered the things to him. Qi Shi Xu just glanced at it and threw it back to Jiang Zhenran. "Let's dismantle it." "I dismantled it. Did you buy it for me? What is it?" Jiang Zhenran was overjoyed and didn't carefully look at the label on the packaging box, so he opened the package with his hands. The box contains a pink watch. Jiang Zhenran took it out and gestured with his hand, instantly understanding. Children's phone watch. It was bought for Xixi. You said you don't accept Xixi. You speak ill of integrity. If someone gets lost, her guardian will come to her door and we won't be responsible, Qi Shi Xu argued. "Oh. Then I'll go give it to Xixi." Jiang Zhenran walked out of the door holding a children's phone watch and deliberately shouted loudly, "Xixi, your brother bought you a gift." Qi Shi Xu said, "Dot." After Xixi's live broadcast, those black fans who originally wanted to harass the owner of the steamed bun shop to eat traffic were scolded. The shop owner's shop is finally able to operate normally. The store has been open for many years, and the customers who eat steamed buns are also old customers. It didn't take 2 days for the previous business to resume. Just because it involved Fei Ming before the broadcast was shut down. So there has been a lot of online criticism these days, all about Qi Shi Xu deliberately arranging this one, saying that he has gone crazy and wants to take advantage of Fei Ming's popularity. There are also those who curse. However, Xixi cannot read and does not access the internet. So the voices on the internet didn't have any impact on Xixi either. On the contrary, due to the online public opinion, some variety shows have found Qi Shi Xu and Xixi. The variety show is called Watching the World with My Brother, and it has been confirmed that Fei Ming will participate with his sister Fei Min. I specifically approached Qi Shi Xu for the sake of popularity. During Xixi's live broadcast, someone would specifically mention Fei Ming, and the online discussion rate remained high for several days. If two arch-rivals come together on a variety show, the popularity and discussion of the program will definitely not be low. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Who brings their household registration book with them? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. who brings their household registration book with them. After receiving the phone call, Jiang Zhenran told Qi Shi Xu the news. Qi Shi Xu's eyes were heavy and he refused without hesitation, I won't go. The time is scattered and adding 1 yuan for just 1 month, the reward is really impressive. With this variety show, the new album's money is more than enough. Qi Shi Xu spoke coldly, firstly, Xixi is not my sister. Sooner or later, I will find her family and take her back. Secondly, I am not poor enough to hire child laborers to earn money for me. Thirdly, I don't want to see that person. This attitude has no room for negotiation at all. Jiang Zhenran persisted in persuading, missing this opportunity, it won't be easy to turn red again. Qi Shi Xu raised his eyes and said, are you sure it's Fan Hong? It's not Fan He. The production team came knocking on us, isn't it because of that incident back then? It's like this, but now it's different from before. Live streaming and editing go hand in hand, and he's not that easy to make small moves. Besides, now he's a bit famous and doesn't dare to be as bold as he used to be. Jiang Zhenran tried so hard to persuade Qi Shi Xu to participate in this variety show. It's not just about money. His words of faith, the cycle of cause and effect is not satisfying. Fei Ming will overturn sooner or later. Ha! Qi Shi Xu squeezed out 2 words from his throat, I won't go. The attitude is very firm. Jiang Zhenran knew that persuasion was of no use, so he didn't open his mouth again. Xixi spoke up at the right time and said, brother, are you afraid to go? Qi Shi Xu's eyes widened unconsciously as he looked toward Xixi. It is infuriated. Correct you, it's not that you're afraid, it's that you don't want to. But. Xixi tilted her head, Xixi thinks. First and second are all excuses, isn't brother afraid to see that Fei Ming? Who said that? I'm not afraid of him. Why didn't brother agree? Xixi also wants to go. Xixi was speaking aggressive words, but her upturned little face was bewildered, her big eyes unblinking, full of sincerity. With just one glance, it extinguished Qi Shi Xu's stomach full of fire. He gritted his teeth and said, if you want to go, you can't go. Travel variety shows are far away. Can you buy tickets? Do you have an ID card? Originally just a casual excuse, wanting to immediately get rid of Xixi's incessant questioning. Xixi reached into her treasure bag and pulled out a red notebook from inside. Brother, Xixi has a household registration book. Qi Shi Xu was dumbfounded. Who's the nanny carrying their household registration book with them when they go out? But you can just take a look at Xixi's background. If I had known Xixi had brought her household registration book, why would she still have a headache? Just send it back according to the address on the household registration book. Show me. Qi Shi Xu reached out to take Xixi's household registration book. Opening the first page, you can see Xixi's name. Qi Shi. He flipped back in confusion and found that there was only 1 page on the household registration book. Find the address registered in the household registration book, which was written in great detail, but it also made Qi Shi Xu's eyebrows involuntarily furrow. The address filled in is a place called Qingfeng Temple, on Qingfeng Mountain outside Ningcheng. Taoist Temple. Qi Shi Xu asked, did you grow up in a Taoist temple? Yeah. Xixi nodded heavily. She reached out and hugged Qi Shi Xu's leg, tilted her head back, brother, can we not send Xixi back? Xixi wants to follow her brother. The dark big eyes were filled with mist, like a pitiful little creature. He only found out that Xixi was actually an orphan who grew up in a Taoist temple since childhood. At this age, I have learned so many messy things that I must have suffered a lot. Qi Shi Xu even brainstormed a big play for himself. Fantasizing the scene of Xixi endorsing without turning his mind and dozing off, being beaten by his master. Thinking of this, Qi Shi Xu's heart pounded heavily. Xixi should go to school when she grows up a little longer. We can't send her back to the Taoist temple and let her learn these divine and ghostly things again, brother. The milky voice of Xixi pulled Qi Shi Xu back to her senses. Qi Shi Xu raised his hand and gently rubbed the corner of Xixi's eyes, and his originally cold voice softened a lot. I won't send you back. Then he looked at Jiang Zhenran and said, you go and contact me. Have you agreed to participate in the variety show? Jiang Zhenran asked excitedly. Qi Shi Xu nodded. He can do anything on his own, he has to support multiple people, and he can't do without some money. Qi Shi Xu did not return the household registration book to Xixi, but instead collected it himself. I'll help you keep this for now, he said as soon as Qi Shi Xu turned around and left. Jiang Zhenran and Xixi secretly slapped each other. Plan successful. This was agreed upon by the two in advance. Jiang Zhenran knew that it was almost impossible to change Qi Shi Xu's thoughts through his persuasion, so he invited Xixi to sing red-faced. Unexpectedly, it went even smoother than expected. Qi Shi Xu and Xixi are the last group of guests designated by the program team. A few days later, the filming of the program officially began. Early in the morning, someone with a camera knocked on the door. Hello, we are from the program group of Watching the World with My Brother. May I ask if we can come in? Qi Shi Xu nodded uneasily. The program shooting was communicated in advance, and Xixi also waited in the living room early. She poked out her head and warmly waved at the person who came in. Hello brother and sister. There are people in the live broadcast room who don't know Qi Shi Xu and Xixi. Just seeing the faces of Xixi and Qi Shi Xu, I started praising them. Who are these two? Brother and sister are each more beautiful. My little sister is so cute. There are stars in her eyes, but such barrage was soon drowned in the insults of the black fans. Those scripts are just for participating in variety shows. There's really no bottom line. Does anyone else not know? Evil young man Qi Shi Xu dares to take action in front of the camera. Boycott. Boycott. Asterisk asterisk asterisk, can we switch people? The production team is really riding on the heat without a bottom line. I pity Fei Ming. Get lost. Following director He Xinyu as he watched the full screen of insults, he couldn't help but frown and continue with the following process. Hello baby. Our variety show is a travel variety show. The world is so big, let's go see it with my brother. Are you ready? Ready. Xixi responded loudly. He Xinyu looked at Qi Shi Xu again, and Qi Shi Xu only nodded lightly in response. She couldn't help but swallow her saliva, and indeed, as rumored, she kept away from strangers. I just hope not to trouble her. He Xinyu took a light breath and silently cheered himself on, continuing, the destination for our first trip still has funds, and we all choose by drawing lots. There are 3 options in total. Amusement park adventure, beach stroll, and rural wilderness. Please draw one first. She said, took 2 steps forward, and handed the task card to Qi Shi Xu. Qi Shi Xu casually took one from one side and handed it over. After reading the words on the task card, He Xinyu's face stiffened. Rural wilderness. Why did they just draw me? End of this chapter.